Hey there, YouTube friends. I'm the only Sir Cracker, and today I'm coming to you from my makeshift grow room. It's been a while since I've been in here, but I wanted to give you a little bit of an update to what's going on. Hey there, YouTube friends. I'm the only Sir Cracker, and I'm coming to you from my makeshift grow room. There's a lot going on here, and I want to kind of give you a little tour of what's happening and what's growing. I'm getting ready for planting outside, and in order to save myself some money this year, I've done a few things. For instance, I don't think you can see, but I brought in a tomato plant that I grew last year. I took a cutting off of it and I cloned it, is basically what it is. When you take a cutting off of, like, say, a tomato, like one of the suckers or whatever, and you plant it in the ground, it's considered cloning. So I cloned a tomato plant. I'm going to show you that here in just a second. So it was my best tomato I had last year, and it's called First Lady. It's not the only one I'm going to grow next year, or this year. I'm actually going to grow a couple of other types of tomatoes, but I wanted to grow this one because it was one of my favorites, and it had absolutely amazing growth on it. So let me, without further ado, show you what I've been doing. Okay, so it's pretty simple what I do. I have my First Lady, and she has been butchered. By the way, she's growing some, she's got some fruit coming on. I'm just leaving them for the fun of it. She's been butchered and butchered and butchered again, and I will continue to butcher, but I always leave a few branches on because down here you can see there's another sucker coming, and that means another plant. So anytime, and there's one down here too, anytime you have suckers, you are going to have more plants. So I don't have high hopes for this particular plant because, well, she's basically what would you call it? A birthing mechanism for all of my tomato plants this year. So these are what I'm actually going to be growing in the garden. I just transplanted this, so it doesn't have any roots on it. But what I did is, if you go to a couple of my videos back, you will see where I take a 2-liter bottle, and green, always use green, it keeps the algae from growing, but I cut the top section of the bottle off, I take the lid off, I invert it, I stick it down inside the bottom, put a couple of pebbles or rocks. This time I've been using some Hydroton, and that keeps the dirt from flowing down into the very bottom and clogging up the bottom. You want it to be like this. Let me show you this one. You want it to be like this. So then water will collect in the bottom of it. It's not wanting to focus today. Water will collect in the bottom of it, and it will wick the water up into the soil, which will keep the plant from drying out, especially when it's a new plant. It's got no roots. You want to keep the soil as wet and moist as you possibly can, at least for the first, I would say, maybe 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. You want it to be well established in these little pots before you put them outside. And I want to show you this one. Where was it? It's hard to do. I'm holding and looking, so you can kind of see. Can I? It wasn't this one. Whoops, I just wasted your time. Here we go. This one is the first one I did. Look at the roots on that already. Can you see the roots? It's all over. Now, what's going on, and it's going to happen, the roots are escaping between the lid, which is down in here, and the side of the pot, which is fine. They're seeking out the water, and this will eventually be full of roots down here, and there will be roots in the soil too. That is okay, because what we're going to do when we plant these containers are going to be destroyed. We're going to cut down the side of them. We're going to shred the container away from the root ball, and that's what we're going to do in order to plant them so we don't destroy a lot of the roots. So we're going to do that. This is the first one I did. You saw the video of me planting this one. I took a cutting and planted it. That was probably about a month ago. it is not very fast growing at this point because I've shocked it. So now the roots are going to grow like crazy and try to reestablish. But it's looking okay. It's a little lighter color, which is not the worst of things. I moved it away from the light a little bit to give this one a little bit more attention. And as you can see, the leaves are curling up a little bit, which it'll be fine once it gets outside, and it'll do just great. It's going to do fantastic once it's outside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this one more time. So far I've got 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 is where I'm going to stop. I only need 6 of these plants, and if only, say, 2 of these guys die, that's fine, because I will then have a few. It's fine. I need to get some more tomatoes this year too, anyways. But I've shown you the video already. You take the container, this one's still got water in it that I'm using to water my plants with, and you cut the top off, invert it, and you plant. And I'm going to give a couple of shout outs here. I picked up this product at my local hydroponic center. I've never used it before. It's new to me, but it's made by Grow More, and it's Rapid Root Inducing Powder. Now, this is some thicker stuff. It's very moist, and it seems to almost clump when it gets on there. And yeah, 2 ounces, and it was only $6.21. So that's really not that bad of a price. If I take you over here, I've had an issue all winter with this. This is my yellow Peter pepper, and the issue that I've been having all summer is little mites. And these things are little teeny white. I think we've figured out that they were a root mite. And so I bought, this is the second one, but I bought a packet, I don't know if we can see this here, of this stuff. And this is Sierra Natural Science. And what it is a concentrate liquid that you mix. This makes about 2 gallons worth of stuff. And you can spray it on the plant. You drench the roots in the soil with the plant, or with it, and it gets rid of them, and it does. I've been trying, let me get rid of the name because I don't really, I've been trying some neem oil extract this whole time as well, but it hasn't done any good. Well, other than stunted growth, leaves are all shriveled up and crap, and that's not from the new stuff I've been using, it's from all the neem and the bugs. She's still a trooper. It's still hanging on. So it's looking really good. As you can see here, I've gathered up a bunch of these leaves. But I'm not talking too fast. I usually talk too fast. I've gathered up a bunch of these leaves and stuff, and then also the cuttings I have left over from doing this. And I put them in the compost. Why not? You know, if there's bugs in it, there's bugs in the compost already. They're gonna eliminate too. So let's do a little tour. It's been a while. Well, there she is. There's my avocado, and it is starting to actually turn into a tree now. It's got a pretty good size stem on it, but this is why I say it's turning into a tree. It's branching off. I got a branch there, and I got another one right here, and I believe there's another one on the other side. And so it's kind of branching off, so it's going to be a tree, which is exactly what I want. I want it to be really short, bonsai-like, and cute and adorable. And underneath that, I planted some things. These are, oh, I don't remember what the heck they're called, but these were in the glass containers that I had for the longest time, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to plant them at the base of this thing. They'll do just fine, and if they die, they die. Like this one's going through some shock, so he's losing some leaves, which is fine. I'll put them in the compost, no big deal. Yeah, got new growth on it though, so that's good. And this one here, it looks like new growth too. But I just figured some foliage underneath And this will be a tallish tree. It's going to be more of a bush, I think, than an actual tree. And eventually, it'll probably go upstairs and sit next to the fireplace or something upstairs and get to join the family. That's kind of the goal there. But I'm just nurturing her along with a little bit of light right now. Avocado, by the way, is a very slow-growing plant. This tree here, I would say, is probably about going on 2 years old. And she has gone through a lot of stress, as you can see by the bottom of her leaves. They're kind of funny. But she's gone through a lot. And she's doing really good down here. That's why I haven't moved her. And she's put on, since this winter started, so probably about November, she's put off about 3 big pushes of leaves. And now she's on definitely the 3rd or even the 4th push. It's looking great. I'm really excited about that. Terrarium, I think the terrarium, in my personal opinion, is, well, a lost cause. Hey, my turtle. Got this weed that just kind of grew out of nowhere. That's kind of interesting. But, I don't know. I did it for the heck of it, to see what I could do in it. And the shamrock's doing pretty darn good as long as I keep her moist. And this old girl, you know what? I bought it just to see if I could get it to grow and get big for me. And I got it before Christmas. This bigger one is now dead. It's all crispy and gross. And this one here is nice and soft and tender still. So I've already trimmed it back. Like, I think I cut 2 others off of it. But I think she'll probably die. Yeah, the spider's getting big. That's pretty cool. Next to the shamrocky thing. Yeah, this. Putting off some new growth up here on the top. And new growth on the side here. This is a lemon tree. And let's talk about slow growth. This lemon is probably 3 years old. And it looks like a seedling. It's just trickling by so slow. And it's branching out and it's trying to do other things. So we'll give it, another 10, 15 years and see how it does. Ha ha ha. I made fun. So there's that. Oh, I wanted to show you my potting soil. Excuse me while I lean down here to grab it. Okay, so I totally got a brand new product. And I've never tried it before. And I opened the bag and I'm in love with it. And it is amazing. It's natural and organic Happy Frog. This is a potting soil. It's 100% organic, 100% sustainable. It is absolutely amazing. You can use it indoors, outdoors. It is fantastic stuff. It's just 100% amazing. I'm loving it. Yeah. So Humboldt Nation is what it says. And it doesn't say that it has any fertilizer in it. Probably doesn't. It's just the compost that's in it. But look at this stuff. I mean, it is... Let's see if I can get something for you. Oh, the bag wants to fall over. Look at that. I mean, it's just got perlite in it. And I don't know if that's peat moss or what that is. There's pieces of wood in here, so I'm assuming there's compost. So the ingredients it's got is compost, forest humus, which is wood chips basically. It's got some peat moss, which I'm not a big fan of that. I'd rather use the cocoa peat, but that's okay. Perlite, earthworm castings, yellow, some bat guano. That's really awesome. Let's see. It's got humic acid, derived from lendite, oyster shell, and it's also got some lime in it for pH. So yeah, this is some amazing stuff. Please, I'm definitely giving them a shout out. It's absolutely fantastic. It's called Happy Frog. and I'm in love. It is absolutely fantastic stuff, and I haven't witnessed or used any potting soil that's been this great. So, and I've used it for a little while now, and I love it. It's fantastic, and of course the plants seem to like it. So, especially being for in the basement. Hi, Dakota. Oh, are you shy? Hey there, friends. I'm the only Sir Cracker. And this is Dakota. Say hi, Dakota. Look, say hi. You gonna be shy? Okay. So, I thought, you know what? So, because it's so hard to find, I thought, I'm going to go ahead and do this video again. And I'm going to show you how to take this container that I just emptied out by watering my plants. I'm going to show you how to make it into a container for watering. Now, you can find this all over the internet, but I figured might as well show you, and then I'll show you also how to take the cuttings as well. So, what I do is I'll take, remember, it's got to be green. You have to use green. It can't be anything but. If you use the clear, or a red, or a yellow, or a pink, the light has the potential to get in there and make moss, and just, it's gross. I leave the lid on. I take my knife, and this is something that you got to do really careful, and I'll just stab it really quick. And I go right about there with it. Yeah, it's going to get a little loud. And I cut the top off. I know you can't see it really well right this second. I'll bring it up here. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be pretty. I know the last bit never wants to come off very well. Oops. There we go. It's sharp, be careful. So it doesn't have to be pretty, it doesn't have to be perfect, you know, it's ugly. But it doesn't matter because this is going to, you can hold on to that, this is going to be destroyed and thrown away when you go to plant outside. So take the lid off of it. You don't need this. It is, you don't want that because that defeats the purpose. So then you take the top, you put the top down inside, try to center it in the middle. And then I use Hydroton because that's what I have right here. This bunch of Hydroton. And I bought. Okay. Put them in my hand here for you. I bought. Okay, be careful. I bought like a 55 gallon or 55. Yeah. I think it was 55 pounds or something like that. This Hydroton in a great big bag, and I tried hydroponics for a while, and in a deep water culture it didn't work very well. So that's all you do. I don't know if you can see in there or not, but you just throw them in the bottom, and then I take my potting soil, and this is where it can get messy when you have a cute little 4-year-old next to you, and I'm just using an Adams peanut butter container, which I use for everything, for my little shovel here, and I just fill it up. Now you're gonna end up filling it up a ways, and then you're gonna end up pressing it down, because this stuff is so light and airy. You want to have some firm contact with your roots. Otherwise, the roots are kind of sitting out there in the middle of the air, and they don't know what to do because they're not. I mean, this is a stem. Remember that you're taking the stem of the tomato plant, and you're trying to convince it that it has to put. I am. You have to convince it to put roots off. In order to do that, you need to push this down, but you don't want to get in there and jam at it. Somebody made a comment one time. It's kind of like pushing against your eye. You want to be able to push against your eye as hard as you can without it hurting. That's about how stiff you're going to go with it. Because I have a knife, I'm going to use my knife. I'm going to stick it in a few inches, wiggle it back and forth, and what that's going to do is create a little cavity or a little hole for me to put my roots, or my stem. And then I get my little clippers here. I don't know if you can see very well. Let me see if I can move the camera here. That's about, so can you see? Oh, you can. Okay. So over here, I've got a sucker. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get as much of this stem as I can. So I'm going to go down to the bottom here and snip it. So then, there is your new plant. Well, what I got to do is I need to trim it a little bit. So I'm going to trim this one off. And I can go in the compost. And I'm going to trim this one off. And that's what I got to work with. Now, I want to take a look, take a really good look here. Can you see, I don't know if you can, all those little hairs on the stem? All those little hairs, from what I understand, are going to end up turning into roots. So now we're going to take this and we're going to end up dipping it into our rooting, rooting hormone is what it usually is called. Be real careful when you open this stuff because it is very powdery and it's kind of like talcum powder. Let me just see if I can show you again. It's kind of like talcum powder, and what you do is you take the stem and you put the stem into it. Now there's a lot of people who are going to tell me, oh, you should put that in a separate container, oh, you should do this, oh, you should do that. You know what, I probably should, but since all I'm using it for is tomatoes, and I'll probably never use this container again, I don't care. Probably end up throwing this away, actually. Alright, so there we go. And that's all you need. And then you stick it down inside your little hole here that you've just created. Which is pretty simple. You just put it in the hole. Backfill a little bit. No big deal. Want to kind of push it in so it makes contact with the soil. Yeah, a little leaf there. I'm gonna take a little bit more of my potting soil, and I'm gonna bury a little bit more. I would like that top cutting to be covered, possibly. Doesn't have to be, but it'll be nice to see if I can get it covered. And yeah, so that's pretty much what I do. And then the next step, and I have underneath here my secret hiding stash, I have 2 liter bottles of water. Yeah, this is a clear one by the way here. Okay, so just gonna water it. I'm gonna water it really, really good because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to fill up that reservoir in the bottom, because that's what's going to allow the plant to be able to wick up the water as it needs the moisture. Almost. And it takes a little bit of water to do this. It doesn't just, oh, it's full. No, it takes more than that. But you gotta wait for it to settle down. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. That's how you clone. Anybody can do it. It's easy, it's simple, it doesn't require, any special tools or anything. I mean, you don't even need to use, the clippers, which, by the way, a lot of people will dip them in alcohol and they'll wipe them and do all this stuff with them. I'm lazy and I don't care. And I know that my plants that I use this with have no bacteria or nothing wrong with them or anything. So I don't care. Like I said, I just don't care. It doesn't bother me any. Yeah. So, I mean, you can if you want to. It, I guess, lowers your risk of having infections, but it's not the big deal. So, anyways, from me and Dakota, we want to thank you very much for sitting and watching our video. I am the Sir Cracker, and this is the Dakota. And keep watching. We'll see you next time. Bye for now. What are we going to do with that cap? I think we should probably throw it away. Yeah. We should put this in the compost too, don't you think? Yeah. Alright, let's do that.